Sasha, I think there's another question here.
Yes, Eddie writes, "Hi, I'm Eddie. I've got two questions. From a screenwriter part of me, what's the best way to have a producer read my script? Pure letter, cold calls. I know many producers and production companies have a policy of not reading unsolicited material, so it's been tough. Second, the director and me, as far as looking for funding, what's the best way to find investors or funding for smaller or indie film projects? Thanks for this, Patrick."
Oh, hey, Eddie. What's the best way to get somebody to read your script? That's a tough one. I mean, I think unsolicited out to companies is hard because companies, often established companies, don't have the time or don't take unsolicited material. So with that, when you're sending it to agencies and stuff, I would say do your homework and call them in advance and say, I would like to send over a treatment. Will you look at that? I'd like to send over a log line and a treatment. And if you like that, can I follow up with the screenplay? Find out whoever it is you're submitting to, how they get their, and they may say, we don't take any unsolicited material. You got to go through an agent or a producer. And then, then you've got to find those routes. There isn't, again, there's no yellow pages, so to speak. It's just building your network or getting, if you're a screenwriter, maybe it's getting your scripts through some of those screenwriting competitions, and then producers go look from there, or, here's something I will give you guys advice on too, is you got to remember, you're going to have to be your own salesperson at some point, right? When I made that movie, Borough of Kings, Brooklyn Sonnet, I wrote it about growing up in Brooklyn, and I set it at Brooklyn College, and I shot part of it at Brooklyn College. And I remember I wrote the script, and I was working as a fitness trainer, and Olympia Dukakis was one of my clients. And I said, Olympia, I wrote you a part. She said, oh, okay, I'll play it. And I think she thought I would never get the movie made or anything, but she said, I have a friend who does coverage for William Morris. Give it to me and I'll have him read it, right? She didn't say she was going to read it. She said, she'll have him read it. So she gave it to him. He got paid to write coverage, they pay people a couple $100 to write a synopsis. He gave it really good coverage. And then she read it. And then I used that coverage to entice other people. I would say, oh, and they would say, oh, send us the coverage. Now it was 3 pages, and it was this, and it had original writing, and it was on the WME letterhead. And I wasn't fabricating anything. I was taking something that, one piece of that, and I was using that to get the next piece, and that's what my advice would be to you, Eddie, is, if you're submitting somewhere, try and find some good traction, and then say, use that to your advantage and sell yourself with it. And then, or, you can submit to any of the writing fellowships or any of the kind of festivals. And then, I would imagine there's a database online that will say you which of the entertainment industries do accept unsolicited material, and then find out the pathway there. And then as a filmmaker, how do you raise money? There's the traditional, you have a piece of material, you attach an actor, director, and you go to an established company and they either buy it, like networks or Apple right now, they'll say, this is a different model. We can say, well, we got this director, this script, this actor, and like, okay, we'll buy it. And we'll give you X amount of money to make it. Used to be in the old days, the independent way, you get an actor, director, a screenplay, producers, and then somebody would take that and then have to pre-sell it to Germany, France, maybe domestically. You get buyers and then you borrow money to make it. That is, right now it's more in the streaming content. My advice to you guys would be lean into that, try and get your material on these websites and YouTube platforms and other stuff where young filmmakers show their stuff, and just be really persistent with it. Making it in the film business or entertainment business, like being a good detective. You're gonna have to find a clue and say, oh, I know this person, let me call that person, or this is a good connection, let me follow up. And you're gonna have to get up. Here's another thing Larry Moss used to say, that's another truism. He'd say, being successful in this business is getting up every day and doing the things you don't want to do. So Eddie, you got a script and you're like, I hate writing cold letters. I don't want to call these people. I don't want to do that. Guess what? You got to do it. You know what I mean? that's the success, is learning to overcome the hard work that we're like, well, I'm a director, I just want to direct. Well, you're not a director yet, so you're gonna have to do all that schlep work that's going to get you to be a director. Be that detective, find out who's making what, where, spend your time, even if you don't know what you're going to do today, Eddie, and you're finished writing, maybe spend an hour or two learning about where scripts are being bought, what movies are being made, or any of that kind of stuff.